Welcome to the Reinvent Your Life podcast, the show that talks about why we do what we do and how we can do it better.
Welcome to the Reinvent Your Life podcast. My name is Chaz Molesky, and today we are talking about haters. Haters in your life, what they look like, how to identify them, and how to really see if somebody is actually a hater or if there's somebody that's actually propelling you towards growth or forcing you to grow, and there is a difference. So the first thing you have to do is you got to figure out who is actually a hater. And the best way of doing this, ask yourself a very simple question. The question is this person helping me grow? That's the question, all right? Because this is going to determine whether or not somebody might be a hater for you. So if somebody's helping you grow, then the answer is yes. And now you have to really take into account what that yes means, because if you have people that say negative things about you, but to you, that's just motivation for you to prove them wrong. So that's a good thing for you because it's actually causing you to be motivated. Well, that person isn't exactly preventing you from growth now, are they? So even though they may be considered a quote unquote hater by traditional terms, they're actually helping you grow. So they would fall under the yes category if you asked yourself the question, is this person helping me grow? And now, if they're not, if you ask yourself that question and the answer is no, you have to really figure out why that is. That's the first part of this, all right? Figure out why is this a no. So is this person really preventing me from growth? Is it a result of something I'm letting them do? Is it something I believe about them? Do I look for approval from them before I do anything else? And so that's why, is it a parent? Parents tend to baby, or they tend to keep you safer than usual, so they won't encourage as much risk taking. It's just in their nature. You can't blame them for that. So if that's the case and you're in that situation, you have to determine, well, is that really hate, or is that just misplaced intention? Are they really hating on me, or is it just something I'm letting them do? So there's a difference there. Now, if you want to further chunk this one down and figure out, okay, well, if let's say it's just a communication issue between us, there's no real hate. Well, how does that get remedied? And can it be remedied? Because this is going to narrow down your list of haters. I promise you that. You're going to find out that there might be people that just don't understand you. There might be people that don't resonate with your message, but it doesn't mean they hate on it. They just don't understand, or they don't know how to make sense of it. They don't know how to use it or appreciate it the same way that you do. And so they might need a little bit more education. They're not necessarily a hater, and they're not necessarily taking away from you unless you let that happen. So the true haters in your life that you're going to have to look for and find are the ones that no matter what you do, it's not good enough. You cannot be successful. They don't believe in you. They don't back you up. They don't support you and what you want. That is a real hater. And a true hater in your life can do incredible amounts of damage, because if you always listen to that voice, if you listen to the person that tells you you cannot do something, and you listen to them and that demoralizes you, and you believe that they have the correct answers over yourself or what you believe in, well, if they continuously keep you down and hold you to a lower level or a lower standard than you hold yourself, and they don't allow you to grow, that is 100% a hater. And surprise, surprise, a lot of times, and don't be surprised if this is a family member, because a lot of times family members hate the hardest because they just don't understand and they don't want to be associated with it, or they're just not comfortable around it, or you make them feel inferior. And so, of course, they're going to try to tear you down. It's the only defense mechanism they have. It's all they can do. So identify the haters in your life, and then you can start to work to figure out, is this person truly a hater, or is it just somebody that I'm not understanding, or we have a mismatch in communication? So that's a way to look for it, right? If you want to prevent it from impacting you, say you do have a hater, well, number one, distance yourself as much as possible. Some people cling so long and so hard to people in their lives that have gotten them to where they are, but they're not going to help them to where they want to be. And they stay in the same spot over and over and over again, just because that's what they're used to. And they can't break out of it. So you really have to figure out, if you're going to prevent this from impacting you, how much time are you actually going to allow these negative people, these energy sucks? How long are you going to allow them in your life? How long are you going to allow them in a week? All right, this person gets 1 hour a week. Keep it to that. You got to hold yourself to that value, that standard, because you're setting these in place to protect you. So if you're going to prevent yourself from these haters, number one, limit your exposure to them as much as you can. Get distance, get away from them. They're just going to bring you down. All right, they're not going to propel you forward. They don't have your best interest in mind. They're protecting their own best interest. So get some distance. Second, change what it means to you. Remember, everything comes down to meaning. So if somebody's hating on you, what does that mean to you? Does it mean you're really not enough? Does it mean that they're right and you're wrong? Does it mean you're inferior? Does it mean any of that? Or does it just mean that somebody on the other side is always going to find something to complain about if that's in their nature, and there's nothing you can do to change that, and you are powerless to that situation? So let this person express themselves as they choose best fit, and you continue to focus on what actually helps, and talk to the people that support you, that care about you, that want to see you succeed. So limiting the exposure, all right, being careful with the people that you engage with, the people that you talk with, and understand too, if you find yourself succumbing to the beliefs of haters or, the consistent negativity, if it's on a social site or it's somewhere like that, you can block them. So many people don't block people online. Like, get them out of your life as much as you can. Now, if it's somebody in real life that is a hater that you have a lot of exposure to, once again, the same rules apply. It's get as distant as you can. And if you're stuck in the same house with this person, maybe it's not distancing yourself as a, moving away or never speaking to them. Maybe it's distancing your exposure to that side of them. Maybe it's distancing yourself from the impact that it's going to hold by just having a conversation with them and creating some space there. So there's multiple ways that you can do this, but you want to separate from it. You don't want to feed into the energy. And if you can, prevent them from entering your sphere, your reference points, prevent them from getting into your head, because there's so much more that you can focus on. There's so much more that you can do. But when you listen to other people's opinions that don't support you, it can be very challenging to overcome. So focus on what you want to focus on what you want to feel, what you want to have, and change the meaning to whatever their hate is coming at you about. All right, very important. So here's what you really need to look for in your social circles, in your friendships, in your families, all of it. You should have, at the bare minimum, a 2-to-1 love-hate relationship. All right. And this is at the bare minimum. So even if you're just starting out and you're replacing your circles here, you should have a 2-to-1 minimum ratio of love to hate. So you should have double the amount of people loving on you, helping you, supporting you, encouraging you than you do of people tearing you down. Double that number, because it's very important, because these energies are going to battle, right? So if you got more of the good coming in, there's more of the good you're going to actually experience. So very, very important part there. Have a 2-to-1 ratio at the minimum, and then just grow from there, because as soon as you get into that environment, you're not going to want the negative people around. You're not going to want the haters around. You're going to look for those people that support you, because they're all around you. You're going to reference them. You're going to talk to them. You're going to believe them when they tell you that you're enough and that you're awesome and that you're capable of doing everything. You're going to start to really, truly believe that. But you have to have the exposure to it to begin with to make any progress moving forward there. So if you're changing your social circles, look for the people that are consistently inspiring you. They're going to empower you. They're going to support you. They're going to back you up. And if you have people in your life that don't do that, you can distance yourself as much as you can and replace with some people that are going to give you that need. All right. And this is extending out of interpersonal relationships or romantic relationships. That's kind of a whole nother conversation. Please talk to your partners. If there's confusion on who's hating on who. All right. Please have that conversation. Very important to have. You need to have the support of that person. But this is a little bit outside of the scope of that. This is more so from people just in your life that do not support you and where you want to go. You cannot let them live in your head for longer than however long you're going to set a budget for. Whatever that time limit you're going to give them, stop at that time limit, and that's it. Ideally, the time limit would be 0. You can't get in my head at all, but come on, we're human. We're going to think about it sometimes. So if you're going to give them a half hour, cool. Let them get in your head for a half hour, and then boom, it's gone. Moving on. Only allot them a certain amount of time and stick to that. Don't fall back and change your mind. All right, stick to it. So this is all about haters in your life, how to get them out, how to not even give them the time of the day, right? How to change the meaning behind what it is, and how to really deal with them in a real day-to-day, life-to-life moment to moment basis. All right, very important that you do this, because the more, like I said, the more you allow them to get into your head, the more you're going to believe them in exchange for you. All right, so take this information, use it, implement it, learn from it, and reinvent your life. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Reinvent Your Life podcast. Now go out and apply what you just heard to start your reinvention. Please subscribe, rate, and share this podcast with those that need it most.